Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, let's talk about a topic that is more common if your partner who's an avoidant is they are not very far in their healing journey. They're very unaware. They might be young in their healing journey, or they might be young in general, because usually that correlates, not all the time. And basically, what happens is they might not react properly until you are basically done with them or done trying. And this unfortunately can even happen in like long-term marriages. I just had a couple this morning that had something similar about this. And so we're going to talk about what happens when an avoidant realizes that you're done trying, okay? The first one is they actually start putting in effort. And unfortunately, you might feel like it's not genuine. It is. It's hard for them to understand how you're feeling until there's an action that's very obvious to them. So, avoidants are not very good at reading feelings. And so if you tend to be someone who tends to be more emotional, hard on your sleeve, very emotionally connected, and suddenly you're not like that and you've been like that for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, they know it's not just a mood swing or something that's not related to them. They're starting to think, okay, have you changed as a person? Because this change is so significant, it's much more obvious to them. And so now they realize, oh, okay, are you like leaving me? Do you not like me anymore? Is it something that I did? And that helps them to reflect. It's not healthy, right? It shouldn't get to this point, but it does happen a lot. And so they start putting in effort. Now, what can sometimes happen is it might be permanent. A lot of times if they're closer to healing or they're more self-aware, this might be permanent. And then after those 5 weeks, you're happy again. And then whatever change they have is pretty much permanent. That does happen. I see that too. Again, I'm a therapist, so a lot of the people that I'm seeing, they are healing because that's my job, okay? But sometimes I get them right in the beginning and they're really, really not close to healing and their wife is like dragging them into therapy, like genuinely. And so I do see avoidants that are not very healed at all and very combative. They don't want help, whatever it is, and they want everything their way. And if anything, they spin it on and say their wife is the issue, whatever it is. I see that sometimes. And they're right to some extent, or their husband is the issue, whatever. It doesn't matter about the gender. But avoidants that are a little bit less in their healing journey, they're getting there, but maybe they only made a couple steps. What happens is sometimes when they start putting in effort and you're happy again, what they actually do is they stop putting in effort again. Because in their mind, they're thinking, okay, the storm is gone. Let me go back to myself. Because they never thought that they actually did something wrong. That's why that happens, okay? And so if this is happening, you can start recognizing that this person still doesn't think what they did is wrong. So there's another way to communicate that sort of reflection. You might say, the reason I pulled away or the reason I shut down or the reason I stopped trying is because I think that this relationship can be overwhelming and sometimes I think you're difficult. So you will see that I will have times where I do that. It doesn't mean that if I'm happy, suddenly it's all rainbows and butterflies. I'm still struggling with this. I just want you to know that. Sometimes that can help. It depends. Again, you can't do all the work though. You can't do all the legwork. They have to do the legwork too. The next one is that you might see that they might panic. And panicking might be that they're feeling really anxious in general. They might be on the edge. Sometimes I see in session, they're like starting to fidget. They might, if they're picking up something in session, let's say they're on a desk together and there's a cup. They might be picking up the cup and they might drop it, right? Because they're feeling like very anxious and they might even report, I've been dropping things more often. I've been more like panicky. I forgot my car keys. I forgot whatever it is. I didn't realize it's time to pick up my son from daycare and I had to drive all the way up there and I was late and I was so concerned, whatever. They're like panicking in their life in general. It feels like their life is falling apart. It might look like an overreaction because you're not doing it on purpose if you're done trying, but in their mind, they are feeling like my life's falling apart. Something's happening and I can feel it, but I can't put my finger on it. And I don't know what this means, right? Remember, avoidants struggle with understanding emotions. And so in their mind, they're thinking, okay, something's wrong. I can feel that this is not good, but what does it mean? And so they're panicking by trying to figure out, how can I fix this? How can I save this without ending up losing this person or without compromising what I believe in, or do I need to change? They're like trying to figure everything out, okay? The next one is they respect your boundary, okay? Let's say you say, I don't think that, emotionally I can do this much anymore. I just need some space. I need some time, and they respect you, right? They respect that. They don't want to push you. They care about you. It doesn't mean they don't love you, but they don't want to be the person to try and push you or manipulate you. Even if they're hurting, they do respect you. If they do respect you, it's actually a good sign. Take your time, and if you decide, you know what, I want to make this, work, they're probably going to try and change. Because if they show that they respect your boundary, it's not that they're not fighting for you, they don't love you. It means that they know what that feels like to need time to process something. And so they're just giving you that same courtesy, okay? The next one is they shut down further. This one is pretty common. You're stopping trying and you're detaching and they're also detaching. If this happens, unfortunately, you would probably need to be the one to step up. I'm just being honest with you, and kind of readjust your expectations or communicate or break up, whatever you want to do. But they're probably going to stay shut down until something happens on your end, or until it's a very long, long time, to which that relationship might be in shambles at that point, okay? The next one is if you guys break up, or you say, I'm done with this, I need a break, they might actually move on very quickly. And this is a little bit more common, actually, I would say a lot more common with fearful avoidance, okay? This doesn't mean that the person doesn't care. They are coping by distracting themselves. They might jump into dating or work, and they might be avoiding emotional processing, or if they have a personality disorder in conjunction with their attachment issue, what they might do is they might want to do this to prove that they weren't the problem, you were. They might say, see, I can date. I don't have a commitment issue. Maybe it was you who had the commitment issue, or you're the one who was making me feel that way. It's not me, because look, I'm dating, right? And unfortunately, this poor person that they're moving on with, they're using this person to make a point to you, right? Because as soon as you come back, they're going to go back with you, right? They're just trying to prove a point to you, which is it's very much not healthy, because what ends up happening is these relationships can collapse if they do something like this, okay? So the reason I made this video is not because I think these behaviors are healthy necessarily. It's for clarification. If you're seeing some of these things that are happening, you're trying to figure out, is it because they never cared? Is it because they never liked you? Is it because they're trying to manipulate you or make fun of you? Because they weren't really avoidant and you were just a person they don't like? That's not always the case. That's why I made this video, so that you can understand that if you're seeing some of these things, this is a reaction that they actually feel for the loss of you, okay? So example, when they shut down further, it doesn't mean they're playing games and they're trying to do some sort of stalemate type of thing. They genuinely don't know what to do, and they're trying to process how they feel. But the processing can take so much longer than you. It might take months. It might even take years. I hope not. But these individuals struggle so much with emotional processing. So you think it's because they don't care, when they're actually just processing. You process it maybe in like a day. They're taking like months, okay? And so you're seeing the first 2 minutes of yours processing is like their first 2 weeks. I'm just being honest, okay? And so that could be what you're seeing the difference, okay? So let's summarize and then we can wrap it up. The first one is they start suddenly putting in effort. It might be a permanent change. It might not be, depending on their healing journey. The next one is they might start panicking, being more anxious. They might feel the loss, and you might see them fidgeting more, dropping things more, being more careless about their day-to-day life, right? Avoidants are very structured. Their structure is like breaking apart, okay? The next one is they actually do respect your boundary, whatever that boundary that you set is, or that perception, okay? The next one is they shut down further. And the last one is actually that they move on quickly, usually with fearful avoidance more commonly. And often it's because they're trying to distract themselves, avoid emotional processing, or to prove a point to you, which is not healthy. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I will see you in the next one.